WATD presents John Paul, the Car Doctor. All things automotive. Have questions? Call or text 781-837-4900. Now, here's John Paul, the Car Doctor.
And good Sunday morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Car Doctor program on this, the very first day of 2026. The best I can tell, at least, it seems to be the very first day of 2026, where apparently it's going to snow, rain, get warmer, snow again.
My math might be off, but it could be the fourth day of 2026.
It could be the fourth day, but it's the first Sunday.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you just said day.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to cover it all.
I'll go back to lightly paying attention.
All right. That's better than not paying attention at all. So I'm okay with that. So, so this is a good start for the new year for 2026. We're not getting anywhere so far, but in the just about any trades these days, whether it's electricians or plumbers or automotive technicians or just about anything, for every 5 people that leave the trade, only 2 or 3 are replacing them. And I've even heard only 1 or 2, depending on what the trade is. So if you've tried to find a plumber or an electrician or a carpenter, you find there's some challenges. And AAA is working with NAPA to try to kind of grow new technicians. And with us on the phone is Jim Sennett. He is the manager of automotive repair programs for AAA Inc., which we used to call AAA National. Jim, good morning, and welcome back to the Car Doctor program.
Good morning, John. Thank you for having me on here your first Sunday of the 2026 year.
Yeah, I'm lucky I still said 2026. It takes me usually till February to get the year right, so fortunately I don't have to write checks anymore, so I'm a slow learner, let's face it, so and you're with AAA National, but you are not located in Florida, are you?
No, I am located in the nemesis of Massachusetts in Buffalo, New York.
And
where I was born and raised.
Yeah, and it snowed there, right?
Yes, it snowed here for sure.
Yeah, and how much snow is on the ground in Buffalo?
Well, I live a little northeast of the city, so I only got about 6 inches. But if you go down south near the stadium stuff, you're probably over a foot almost 2 feet.
Yeah, that's what I hear. So today the Patriots playing today. We won't even talk about that, but I do want to talk about this 1 year kind of anniversary of a program between AAA and NAPA. And NAPA's been a great partner with AAA. In fact, AAA members get a discount when they shop at a NAPA store. You can also buy a AAA branded battery at NAPA stores. If you don't want to have it delivered to your house, you can go to a NAPA store and go get it. But tell us about this apprenticeship program.
Yeah, so AAA and NAPA have gone back a long way. Almost 30 years. I think we're at 29 years. We've had a relationship with NAPA. We've had our approved auto repair program, where we have independent shop owners out in the country there, out in the members. I can talk today. Out on our services out there, offering them for AAA, and they get a discount for coming in there for our AAA members and getting work done on their vehicles. And we have strict, I would say, things that they have to adhere to between warranties on cars, training with their technicians, the warranty on parts and work and labor and service done, and they have to have a higher rating for all of their customer service and stuff. So we had that program, and it's been around for 50 years. In 2025. So back in 2023, we were tasked with there's a growing gap in automotive technicians. Like you said, for every technician that leaves, we don't really have an answer for one that's coming back in. It was getting very, very bad in 2020, 2021, 2022. 2023, we saw some of the trades start to sort of have a rise, modest 2-3% growth. And then in 2022, 2023, 2024, we started to get more and more growth And AAA, being a part of the automotive industry, wanted to be dedicated to this, initiative to have technicians come into the workforce. So back in 2023, we started some discussions with NAPA and AAA and how we could help with bringing more technicians into the workforce. They had already started their NAPA apprenticeship program, so we kind of worked with them, and they kind of modeled our apprenticeship program. Much like NAPA's, we had a few tweaks in there for some different things for us for AAA, and we started and launched our own program. And we kind of wanted to do it through AAA and have it powered by NAPA so that no matter what your parts affiliation with is, when you work in an automotive shop, sometimes your parts affiliation with O'Reilly's or, with Advance or with AutoZone or NAPA, but we didn't want to make sure that anybody could have access to this apprenticeship program, not just the people that had a relationship with NAPA. And NAPA was gracious to do this for us. It was gracious to share all of their time and effort they put into this program and putting it all together, and we came up with the AAA apprenticeship program.
And like you said, it's not, even though it's NAPA, if somebody has a partner, somebody has, and some shops still do this today. It's you pick up the phone, it automatically connects to your local parts house. But when you look at it, this program, whether you're a NAPA shop or whether you're a shop that deals with another independent auto parts store, you're still benefiting the greater good by putting more technicians out there in the field.
Correct. Yeah, it's a program near and dear to my heart. I have been a technician, ASC certified technician for 20 years, actually 25 years now, and I I've always looked into it. It's a great field. We've had a bad rap of what it looks like, right? You always get the guy that's a greasy guy underneath the car working on a car. And it wasn't always a high, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you didn't look at it as a great job. You looked at it like as one of those jobs that wasn't there. But it's actually not that. I mean, most of your job now is entailed to a laptop computer. You're hooking up to these systems. It's like a tech job now, right? It's almost.
It really is,
it's
yeah.
So high. It's so high tech now. So many things going on inside the cars and stuff. It's like it's not just that greasy guy under the car getting all dirty and everything. It's using your brain. It's using these computer systems, and it's really, really smart, and it's really, really cool to get into this program. And with the shortages and where they are now, I mean, you can make a technician can make, easy $80, $90, $100,000 a year. We got guys that are making, $40, $50, $60 an hour.
Yep.
And in a shop, and it comes with I guess a lot less requirements than having a 4-year degree, right? You can go through a 2-year school, trade school. You can go through your local community college and get an automotive tech degree, or you can come to our apprenticeship program and you earn as you learn. So you get to go to work every day and you get to learn more about mechanics. And then after our 2-year program that we have here with AAA and NAPA, you can become probably a good C tech in the program after 2 years, and you're not coming out with any debt. You've earned money along the way as you're collecting a paycheck. You're still working, and then you're also learning new trades while you're doing it.
No, we're fortunate here in Massachusetts where we have free community college, and that includes one of the, in my opinion, one of the best community colleges, which is Mass Bay Community College, and they have automotive programs with Toyota, with GM, with Stellantis, and they have in the same school, they actually have, I think they have Hunter and a couple other kind of spin-off classes that run out of that. But when you combine that with a program like this where you can do e-learning and all of that, you brought up a good point. There's people out there, and you said, there's guys out there making $40, $50 an hour. A lot of women out there in this field right now. Not as many as probably everybody would like to see. But, I was at a repair shop, a local AAA repair shop not far from where I live here, owned by a woman, has a couple women that work in the shop, a couple of guys that work in the shop. And, you just get a little bit different feel when you go into that shop. So there's a lot of possibilities and growth, but also because there is a bit of a shortage, people that are good can do better. I remember when I first kind of decided I wanted to get into this business, and it was a local car dealership near where I lived when I was, 18 or 19. They had no interest of taken somebody in that had a little bit of experience. They were looking for, good, solid experience mechanics, technicians, back then. Today it's a little bit different story. You come in with a little bit of knowledge and a good work ethic, and somebody who comes into work and wants to learn every day. There's a lot more possibilities that are open to these new technicians out there, isn't there?
Definitely, and like you said, women. It's a huge thing in there. I think about 5% of the workforce is now women in the automotive industry.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty cool. I mean, look at Mary Barra, right, the CEO of General Motors, who started in an engineering program, a technician program at GM, and worked her way up to be the CEO. So it's pretty cool to see that. I think the growth in all trades are common, like the last couple of years here in New York State. If you are between the ages of 18 and 15, you don't have a degree at all, and you want to go back and become into the trades, they will send you to a free community college, much like Massachusetts.
Yep.
And they started that program last year, and we've seen the enrollment rates explode into the automotive trades and into all the other trades too, because that's a great program to have in there and having trades. And we know some people are going to go through the trades and they're not going to make it, or they're going to get jammed up somewhere and they have to go to work or whatever. But there's a bunch of avenues with AAA, and this is what we like to do. Is we have maybe if you don't make it all the way to an automotive technician, you can be one of our roadside technicians at driving a tow truck, or our roadside problem solvers, where we're out there changing batteries and tires and getting cars unlocked and stuff. So there's a lot of avenues that you can come to off of the automotive field, right? You can go to a service writer, service manager. You can be a service director in big, huge dealerships and stuff. So there's a lot of avenues that you can take with automotive when you start with automotive, and you can branch out into, manufacturing. But also with this program with AAA that we have, it's also reskilling. So say you've lost your job, right? You were working at a factory, or you were working somewhere where the jobs were downsized and you're moving back in there. It's a great way to get into the workforce and into the automotive field with little or no experience. And we'll train you as you learn and as you earn, and you get a job with a shop, and then you work your way up. And it's a great, great thing. And then the other cool thing that NAPA does for us, at the end of the completion of this program, we have all the names in there, and they offer the technician and or the shop that they're working for, a tool starter kit with a toolbox and everything at a discounted rate through their Carlisle tools and stuff with NAPA, and they give them a great rate on to get them started into the industry and into the program. So it's pretty cool that all the things that NAPA has done for us to make this successful program for AAA and for NAPA.
It really is, and I think one of the key things, and the recap program that was on before my program this morning, there was a young woman, and she law school, Harvard, whatever. I have a friend whose niece went to college, and she went to a good school. She went to graduate school. She probably has hundreds of thousands of dollars in student debt, and it's going to take a long time, even with a good job. It's going to take a long time to pay that debt off, where you can, like you said, you can make, $40, $50 an hour, $60, $80, $100,000 a year, and do it with no student debt.
Yeah, that's the greatest thing. And it's such a cool and evolving industry, and you can go anywhere after that, right? You can specialize. There's people that do just classic cars and restorations. There's people that just work on EV cars. There's people that work on, Asian import vehicles and European cars, and they go into NASCAR, into, drag racing, NHRA, and rebuilding engines, and you can rebuild transmissions, and it's just such a vast thing, and everybody needs it, right? Everybody's got a car in their driveway. Everybody's wants to use their car, and when it's broken, and they're inconvenienced, they don't have a car, they want it back. So I think it's just an awesome field that you're going to get into, and it's only going to grow as technology grows and as people grow. There's only going to be more and more cars and more vehicles on the road.
Yeah, you're right, and it could be, it may be an electric vehicle, and people look at that and go new technology, and but I'm old enough to remember when like electronic ignition and disc brakes came out, and I remember some of the old time mechanics I work with were like, oh, that's got that electronic ignition in it, and then we found out it's pretty easy, or those disc brakes, those are complicated. Well, because you didn't know what they were. The same thing with electric cars. You find out, yeah, they're rolling computers, but they're still mechanical. And something goes wrong with it, you can still fix it. And I think one of the keys to this business, somebody who gets into auto repair one way or another, they tend to do everything. I remember when I took an air conditioner course, and the instructor of the course came back and said, well, if you understand the basic of this, you can go home and fix your beer cooler at home. And he was right, because you understand car air conditioning, you can understand refrigeration, and you can look at it and try to figure it out. So I think automotive mechanics, automotive technicians tend to look at things a little bit differently, and they tend to fix stuff. And sometimes, it goes a little bit out of control, because sometimes they want to fix people. But a lot of times you can fix, you look at it and you go, well, it's electrical and mechanical. I can probably figure that out if I sit there long enough and look at it and understand the theory and the operation behind it. I can probably make it work. And I think that's something you don't always get in other business lines. Not to take away from lawyers and accountants, but not that many lawyers and accountants fix their own refrigerators.
Right, like in automotive, right? You can fix your lawnmower, you can fix your snowblower, you can fix your weed whacker, you can do a bunch of other stuff. I think with the aptitude, mechanical ability, right? Like you just have an idea of how things work and take it apart, and whether it be a bicycle or whatever. When I was younger, I used to take apart my lawnmower and fix it, or I used to take apart my bicycle and try to, make it better, right? And I think that's where it comes from. And I think when you have mechanical aptitude, in the United States, we kind of push them towards an engineering degree and push them towards a four-year college. And a lot of those guys are missing out. A lot of those people, young ladies, men, women that are out there are missing out on a great career in automotive, because it's you don't need an engineering degree. You can get a 2-year degree, and you can start to work in the workforce, and you can make a big difference, and you can be doing stuff out there. We used to have a thing called the Automotive Skills Challenge with Ford Motor Company that kind of went defunct back in about 2017, 2018. And it was a great program where we used to have students from across the country, compete to be a part of this program. And I got to be a keynote speaker at one of their events when I was working for AAA Western and Central New York. And, it was really cool to listen to these kids talk and how they are and how mechanically and how they thought of things and how the thought process comes through. And I think, having an apprenticeship program that AAA has in there gets these kids that maybe doesn't really want an engineering degree or the actual classroom environment's not really for them. They like the hands-on training, and they like to learn hands-on and do stuff like that. This is probably the way for them to go, and it's a way for AAA to help be successful for automotive, in the future as well, too.
Yeah, it really is. And the what was originally the troubleshoot contest and Plymouth Troubleshoot and then Chrysler and Ford Auto Skills. Again, one of my favorite programs. And I was fortunate enough that I was asked to be down and kind of MC the outdoor event, I guess, to fill some time while everybody was working on the cars, and I got down there to be a judge before, and it was such a great program, and to see these kids from all across the country competing was fantastic. If people want to find out more information about this program, where do they go? If it's a student that wants to do this, a school that maybe this is we have some school teachers that are listening now that go, what, I'd like to add, have another option for our kids that are graduating, or maybe in the summertime they can get involved with some of these programs. Where can they find more information out about this program?
You go to AAA.com/auto repair. We also have more about the apprenticeship program is also on our AAA network of savings .com, and you can go in there and you can go underneath automotive programs, and it has our apprenticeship program laid out inside of there too. And then we have some press releases. You can go to AAA.com/newsroom, and you'll see some of the articles in there, some way to contact them, or they can contact me directly. At my email address is jsennett@AAAnational.com, and I'll be more than willing to answer any questions anybody has or any things that I can help guide them towards, getting into the program or becoming part of it.
Well, it's kind of funny. Well, we were just talking. You said, the address where you can look stuff up. I was just looking at, some of the past classes from last year in the Boston area, for instance, and these were the instructor-led classes. Timing chain, advanced diagnostics using scopes, modern air and fuel strategies and diagnostics, advanced GDI systems and diagnostics. Some really good stuff. Hybrid and EV air conditioning diagnostics, that was actually taking place in Providence, out in the western part of Mass. Similar programs. So there's a lot of stuff going on with these with the instructor-led programs, but then the virtual programs are great too, because there's a lot of stuff there. So I think for somebody who has an interest, who wants to do this, and like you said, it's a program that can open up a lot of doors, whether you get involved in it and say, what, maybe I'm not a hands-on technician, but maybe I'm a great parts department person. And, talk to, technicians who work in dealerships sometimes, and they live and breathe by how quick they can get their parts. And, a good technician who's right on the ball and can look stuff up and knows what everything is, goes there with experience, not just the idea of working a parts catalog, can be technician's best friend at a dealership.
Yeah, that, and also the service writer, right, and the service advisor, having that person be able to understand what's wrong with the vehicle and be able to articulate to a customer so they can sell those jobs, which in turn makes the technician more money, it makes the business more money, and it makes the service writer more money, and it helps the motoring public understand, what's going on with their vehicles and what they're getting fixed, and understands what's a little bit more about what they're doing. It's a great program, and I'm lucky. I also am the vice chair on the ASC Board of Education board. So we were in there looking at curriculums, looking at new things like you said about, EV hybrid, training, powertrain, stuff like that, advanced engine diagnostics, all those things are on there. We're looking at revamping some of those classes and putting them up there, and we're always, changing, and we're always, helping technicians become more successful. And the ASC certifications are a big thing in this world, especially if you work in the aftermarket and the independent shops of the world, or like the big shops like, Goodyear, Firestone, all those, Midas, having those ASC and having those certifications is something that's important, and know that you know what you're doing and you can fix the cars right. So, it's a great partnership. We also have a partnership with ASC as well on doing some public service announcements and things and how they're on there. And, ASC has done some great things in the field of automotive technician training, between you can get your ASC technicians virtually, you can go and take the test virtually now in some areas. So it's really cool. You don't have to go to a testing center anymore. Back in the day when I first started taking my ASCs in 1990 something, we won't say the D year, but I had to go to a community college and take a Scantron out with a number 2 pencil and then wait 6 months to get my results. Now you can take it on a computer in your own home, and get the results instantly too.
Well, I think, not to date myself, but I think I took my first ASE test in the 70s.
So a couple years before me, John.
Yeah. And I think I became an ASE master I think I had to when I came to work for AAA. I think I kind of told myself I had to do that. That was probably in 85 or 86. So long time with the ASE folks, and and it's a good way to for a shop to kind of say we're a little bit different than maybe the folks down the street. Hey Jim, I want to thank you for taking some time out of your Sunday and joining us. And you can still watch the Patriots. It's okay.
I'm definitely be watching the Bills game today. But I will thank you for having us on.
All right.
Thank you for representing AAA, John. We really appreciate it. And Happy New Year to everybody. And if anybody's out there and wants to get a part of this program, please email, reach out to AAA, reach out to us, and we'll get you started in this program.
Reach out to you, reach out to me. We'll get you connected to the right folks. Jim, thanks again, and Happy New Year, and talk to you soon.
Thank you, too. Happy New Year.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care. We need to take a break, pay some bills. My name's John Paul. This is the Car Doctor program. If you would like to join us, maybe you have a question about your car, you can give us a call at 781-837-4900. And sometime between now and sometime, I don't know when, we're going to come up with a way to give away a certificate to the Incontrol driving school. Remember, we had the folks on from Incontrol last week, and they were good enough to send me a gift certificate to give away. So we are going to give that away. We'll come up with some rules in between. You've never won a gift certificate before, things like that. Maybe you have a teen that's looking to, has their learner's permit. We'll come up with something to be able to give it away. And it takes place in Weymouth, so convenient for most of our listeners. So we'll figure that out when we come back. My name's John Paul. This is the Car Doctor program. You're listening to 95.9 WATD.
Even car geeks and do-it-yourselfers rely on AAA to give them extra peace of mind on the road. AAA offers 24/7 roadside assistance, whether you're in your own vehicle, a friend's car, or even a rental. Combine that with great rates on insurance, hotel, gas, and dining savings, and discounts on 8,700 brands, and you're covered on and off the road. Get a special membership offer today at AAA.com/join. That's AAA.com/join.
Tonight is different, it's gonna be great.
Hey, I'm Ashley Jordan. Tune in to Twilight Showcase Radio, hosted by Sandy Stride and Keith James on 95.9 WATD and 95.9WATD.com. Search for Twilight Showcase Radio on Facebook and visit twilightshowcase.org.
Twilight Showcase, tonight from 8 to 10 on 95.9 WATD. Make an appointment Sunday morning at 11 for John Paul, the Car Doctor, on 95.9 WATD. Now, back to the Car Doctor.
And welcome back to the Car Doctor program on 95.9 WATD. Yeah, Jesse and I get talking during the breaks, and it gets out of control sometimes. What can I say? Well, like I said, last week Dan Strollo was our guest on the program, and he's the executive director of the Incontrol Family Foundation. They've been around since a long time, late 80s, I think we decided, teaching people how to drive defensively, not driver's ed, which most people take in Massachusetts, but this is a little bit different. This is learning how to stop in an emergency, how anti-lock brakes work, how when you step on the brakes, the weight transfers to the front wheels, so you have more weight on the front wheels, which gives the car more control, things like that. And he sent me along a gift certificate to give away. And I'm just making sure I have it before I get in trouble, because, I hate to do that. Oh, yeah, yep. We have a gift certificate for one person. It's valid until December of next year. And we can send it electronically. So here's the rules. So Jesse's got to be in charge of this. You can have not won a gift certificate to Incontrol before. You have to be somebody who can use it. And like, Dan said last week, he's had, 15-year-old kids, kids with learner's permits, ideally for that, in the learner's permit stage. So a little bit of experience driving, know how to put the car in gear, know how the brakes work, all that kind of stuff. And, but he's also had, I think he said his oldest student was 94. But maybe you're 40 or 50 and you're like, you know what, I could use a bit of a brush up. Like I said, most of the time it's younger people, but not always. My wife and I took the course 10 years ago, I think. So we could, we were not the youngest people in the room. Might have been the oldest. I don't know. But anyway, so that's the rules. That's as simple as it is. So you can't have one before. You need to have a use for it, because this is, it's worth $300 or something. So, don't just win to win. Win because you can use it. Win because you can give it away to your, you and your one of your kids or your grandkids can go. It typically takes place in Weymouth at the former Weymouth Navy base, so convenient to a lot of people. We're going to need your name and email address to make sure I can send you the certificate, so you can make arrangements to get that out. So Incontrol, and they have kind of these other courses too. The trailer backing up course. When it's snowing, they have a how to drive in the winter kind of course. So they have other things that are involved. They do a lot of teaching with law enforcement, EMS, that type of thing. They can bring a lot to programs. And one of the other things that Dan reminded us about was if you have a business with less than 50 people, you can get a state grant to run your employees through the Drive-In Control program. And you can find out more information at driveincontrol.org. You can learn how to do that. So, but this is for one person, and maybe you're going to win, and maybe you're going to go along with the one person. That's kind of what I did. My wife and I went together as sort of a couple. Other people do couple things. We went to driving school together. So there you go. So Jesse, how do you want to do this? What caller would you like?
Let's do the 300th caller.
300th caller.
While we answer those calls, we have, I believe it's David Price from Price Automotive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Little treat for everyone.
Yeah. So, so I don't know what.
Right,
what do you want to do?
Like
we'll
dial it back. Yeah. Let's do 10th caller. Sure.
10th caller. Okay. So 10th caller, give us a call at 781-837-4900. 781-837-4900. 10th caller. But let's talk to David Price. David.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody over in WATD land there this morning?
Good. How are you?
That's good. I'm doing well. I'm down here at my shop today, getting in a little overtime as it is. I just wanted to echo the words of the previous caller. I've wanted to voice everything that he said over the past 5 to 10 years. You don't need a huge college degree and the huge college expense to get into the automotive trades. We specialize in collision and mechanical repairs down here, and the number of people entering the field is lower and lower and lower every year. And the average age of the tech is higher and higher. That's a bad trend to be in. I hope that parents listening out there really take my words to heart. Push for the trades. It really is something to be said for the blue-collar worker. The money is commensurate with your experience, and it climbs right up from there. If you're a hard worker, you show up, you want to learn. All the things the previous caller said, they are available to you in the trades.
It really, I mean, this past summer, I was trying to find a carpenter to renovate a little bathroom in my little house, and there were no 25-year-olds. They were in their 50s, and like you pointed out, we're seeing, and that's kind of, if you go by and you see, somebody putting in windows, or you see an electrician, or you see somebody doing HVAC stuff, it's not they're older folks doing it. Like you said, that's kind of the scary part that, like we started this interview with, for every 5 people leaving the trade, maybe 2 are going back into it. And that's going to make it tight for people to try to get their cars repaired, body shop work done, or that leaky toilet replaced.
This is true. It's a great environment to work in if you don't want to sit in a cubicle, if you aren't geared for that college education. There's a hell of a lot of things to do. And the diagnostic part of it, too. When you're diagnosing problems and you see how things fit together, you absolutely transfer that to other aspects of your life. My children all grew up with dirt bikes and snowmobiles, and when you're broke down on the trail, you don't call AAA. You dig in and with what you have and your knowledge that you carry with you. That does carry on into all aspects of your life. It really does.
Yeah, like I said, when many, many years ago when I took a air conditioner course, the guy teaching the course said, you can go home and fix your kegerator if it breaks, because it's basically the same system. And if you understand the operation of it, you can figure it out. And I think a lot of people in that trade, whether it's auto body repair or mechanical repair, they're hands-on people, and they tend to fix stuff, I guess is a good way to say it.
Absolutely. I got a shirt for Christmas. It says I'm an engineer, which basically means I fix stuff and know things. So anybody can be an engineer without the engineering degree. Dig in, find a local repair shop. Everybody knows where I'm at down here. And I'm always willing to take on the less experienced people. They got to show up. They have to work hard. They have to want to learn all the things the other caller said. It's just a good trade for me to be in. I've supported myself and family, 3 children, and a house is property, and it's all through hard work. You just have to want to show up, want to learn, and want to work hard, and want to fix things.
Yeah, I think I remember I was at a guy's shop one day, and a young kid came in to see about a job, and the guy said to him, hang on a second, I got to finish up with a couple customers. And the kid was standing there. He looked at me, and I looked at him, and he looked at me again. And he picks up a broom, and he starts cleaning up. And the guy comes out, and he goes, what are you doing? And he goes, well, there's some junk on the floor, and I was just sweeping up because I was waiting for you to show up. And he goes, can you start tomorrow?
Yeah, you're hired. You're hired.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
No, absolutely. And Price Automotive, you're on Ferry Street?
Ferry Street, Marshfield, right on the road to Hummerock down here.
That's what I thought.
I think it's the oldest continuously operating business in Marshfield. I purchased it from the Oxner family, and that's a well-known name here in town. In fact, they used to have a program on local access TV, Our Father's Time, I think it was called. But it's been a fixture forever, and I'm very proud to have a shop of my own.
Chris Oxner might actually be listening.
Hello, Chris, if you are. Former VP at Sullivan Tire. He was a great guy at Sullivan Tire. I know this. And that's another great organization, too. Always willing to take on younger people because they're just not getting into the fields. Short of saying, we'll take anybody we can get. We'll take people that want to show up, people that want to work hard. And, again, I stress to the parents that are listening out there, push towards that trade, any trade, really. You don't need a college degree to make it in this world. You need to be able to show up and work hard. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right,
hey,
I
want to thank you. I want to thank you for listening and call in anytime.
All right. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Take care, Dave. Bye. If you would like to call in, talk about your life, 781-837-4900. You got a car question you want to call in? Jesse, how'd we do with the 300th caller?
Probably could have done 300, but
really?
Yeah, Tom from Pembroke ended up winning.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, good. So you'll email me his address so I can send it along and all that sort of stuff. So
I have done so.
You have? Wow. You are quick.
Well, I use carrier pigeons, so who knows when you'll get it. But
well, yeah. It is the interwebs and all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, if you want to talk to us, our phone number is 781-837-4900. Always nice to hear from people when they call in, whether it's somebody who owns a repair shop, somebody has a car question, anything like that. We can take care of it all right here on the Car Doctor program. Got an email just this morning from somebody who said, maybe you can help me with something, and they said, let's see, it starts off, I have a 2002 Subaru Forester and have never had any problems with it. Well, until now. It has only 82,000 miles on it, runs well. However, the last time I drove it, I couldn't get the key out of the ignition when I got home. Luckily, it's in my garage and I have a spare key. That has never happened before. Doing some research, I found out I was pretty lucky that it hadn't happened before. Is there anything I can do other than bring it to the mechanic to have it taken out? And because I was sitting here answering car questions, which I do every Sunday morning, I try to spread my time out a little bit. I will try to answer. I look at my phone or my laptop or my tablet all week long, try to answer people's car questions. And so I'll try to do it. But I try not to sit for hours and hours at a time. So, but I do look a lot. So is there anything they can do? Probably not. You can try moving the shifter back and forth, in and out of park, in and out of park, in and out of park. But the way the system works, at the base of the shifter, there's a little mechanical switch, like a little pressure switch. And the little pressure switch, when it goes into park, closes or opens a contact, it sends a signal to the body control computer. The body control computer sends a signal back up to the ignition interlock switch, part of the ignition switch, and it says, okay, you can rotate the key back and take the key out. It won't let you do that if, for instance, the car's not in park or just park, actually. So you can't take the key out with it in gear, for instance, and have it roll away. So it's a safety feature. It's kind of a clunky safety feature because it uses a series of mechanical things that are hooked up electrically. So it's a combination of items the way it all works. So it can be a little bit awkward. Maybe being a little rough on the shifter, going back and forth, park, drive, might be just enough to loosen up the switch if it's stuck with dirt or moisture or something along those lines. So it might click it back into gear. If not, you are going to have to bring it to a shop, and they're going to have to diagnose what's wrong with it. And that's going to take, like I said, it's probably the switch at the bottom of the bottom of the shifter column. And what they'll have to do is take the console out, take the shift knob off, take the console off, then you can find the switch, and then see if the switch is just broken because it's got junk stuck in it, or see if it's electrical. So either way. Our phone number, 781-837-4900. We're going a little bit out of our normal listening area. Lewis from Maryland. Lewis?
Yes. Hello, Doc.
Hi.
Hey, just a question. I have a 2017 Honda Civic, has the 1.5 liter engine, direct injection with the turbo. And these were the cars that started off with the turbos and the direct injection for fuel efficiency. And now it seems like a lot of cars like Toyotas and other manufacturers are starting to do this for fuel efficiency purposes itself, environmental stuff and all. But like the Hondas, I've been hearing that they've been having issues with head gaskets issues, needing repair replacements itself. Because cars, if not well maintained, could have these issues pop up very easily itself. I'm wondering what you've heard about these types of engines itself. Is it true that it's really a serious problem now with these cars with both direct injection and turbos that puts a lot of stress onto these four-cylinder cars?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. What happens with direct injection, you can get excessive amounts of carbon buildup. And carbon buildup can cause engine misfiring. You can get kind of all the P03 codes, so misfire on 1, 2, 3, 4 cylinders, whatever the case is. You can also get codes for the car running too rich. In some cases, I'm pretty sure the warranty was extended on a lot of these engines. The normal Honda warranty is 5 years to 60,000 miles. I think what they did is they extended to 6 years and unlimited mileage on all the major components. Any turbocharged engine that is not particularly well maintained can suffer because, let's face it, back in the back when there was big V8 engines that had huge cubic inch numbers and still only made 200 or 300 horsepower, they weren't working very hard. Now all of a sudden you take a 1.5 liter engine that makes, in some cases 300 horsepower because it's turbocharged, it does put more stress on the engine. The upside of all that is that most of the time you're driving it pretty normal. The turbo's not really working that hard. It's not really putting that extra pressure on. Now, if you're somebody who, drives like, you just got into a video game, that engine's going to suffer a little bit more. But I think for your car, especially now where you said it's a 2017?
Yep. It just clocked 100,000 miles, but I'm the original owner, and I've done oil changes every 4,000 miles. They're very well maintained.
Yeah, and that's just it. Do all the regular maintenance. Don't beat the daylights out of it, and just follow the maintenance minder that Honda uses. And if you want to do a little bit more than that, if you want to kind of look at some of the other stuff, but follow the regular periodic maintenance. And it's but there isn't these Honda and Toyota make some of the best stuff on the planet. So that's a good start right there. So like I said, follow the regular maintenance stuff. Do, like you said, do the oil change regularly. You're doing it. You're probably even doing it maybe just a little bit early, and that's fine. Make sure you use a good quality oil.
I use the Castrol.
Yep. So, for the people that are listening that maybe don't drive quite that much, at least do an oil change every 12 months. People out there, some people will go, well, the maintenance thing didn't come on and it's been a year and a half or two. No, do it every, even if it doesn't come on, do it every year. Get the oil out of there. And but like I said, it really depends on how the vehicle is driven. My wife has a Volkswagen. It's a turbo. It's a 1.8 liter engine. It's the one it was an interim engine in there. It's how often does a turbo really kick in? Not very often, because she drives it pretty reasonably. So same thing. Drive it reasonable, take care of it. And one of the important things that I learned a long time ago from a old-time mechanic who always said to me, whenever you get in your car, for that first 5 minutes or so, drive it like it's a brand new car. Whether it's on a cold winter day or a warm day, drive it like let everything warm up together. That's going to really extend the life of the car. People who get in a car and just jam it in gear and put their foot to the floor, those are the ones that go through a lot of car parts. Let everything kind of warm up together. Even people on cold New England days, they get in the car, they start it up, they let it warm up out in the driveway. That really doesn't do anything for the transmission and the differential and even the brakes and suspension pieces. Let everything sort of warm up together. Drive it like it's a brand new car for at least the first 5 or 10 minutes every morning when you get in it.
Yep. Car's up, has never been modified. Always take my time getting it warmed up itself. The car was born in spent half its life in Chicago, so it really took care of it there itself. And here in Maryland, it's not quite as bad, but well maintained itself. So no issues. I've done the spark plugs and even the PCV valves and all the coolant and transmission stuff and all that. So
it sounds like you're doing the right things, and it sounds like realistically, this car will give you a lot of good life just because of that. But as far as the engine itself, I think when things change, you always hear, they put that 1.5 liter engine, turbocharged engine in, it's gonna fall apart. Only it depends on how you drive it. If you drive it reasonably, it's gonna last a reasonable amount of time. When people put, when engine manufacturers put timing belts in, everybody hated them. Then they switched to timing chains, and people, timing chains aren't as good as timing belts. Well, your car has a timing chain. It has a timing chain tensioner. It should last the life of the engine. Was there technical service bulletins about timing chains? Yeah, I mean, the timing chain tensioner on some of these engines did leak, so it's always worth, taking a look at that. But for the most part, these are, this is the same basic engine that went from 2016 to 2020, is still in the 2026 model. So, it's continual improvement. Just take care of it. Do everything you're doing. It should last a good long time.
Great. Thanks a lot, Doc.
All right.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Lewis. Take care. Well, you don't have to call from Maryland, but if you want to give us a call, 781-837-4900. We're going to take a break, pay some bills. My name's John Paul. This is the Car Doctor program. You're listening on 95.9 WATD.
Even car geeks and do-it-yourselfers rely on AAA to give them extra peace of mind on the road. AAA offers 24/7 roadside assistance, whether you're in your own vehicle, a friend's car, or even a rental. Combine that with great rates on insurance, hotel, gas, and buying savings, and discounts on 8,700 brands, and you're covered on and off the road. Get a special membership offer today at AAA.com/join. That's AAA.com/join.
Hey there, folks. It's Quinn Kelly reminding you to tune in Sunday night at 5 for the South Shore's first voice in sports talk radio, The Sports Exchange. Unmatched coverage of local high school action as well as a relatable voice on all things Boston Pro Sports. We've got you covered live at 5 every Sunday night. Have a question for our host, missed last week's show, or just want to share a great sports story? You can find us on Twitter at SE on WATD. But remember, mark your calendar, folks, and we'll see you Sunday night at 5 for the Sports Exchange on 95.9 WATD.
Honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. He's John Paul, the Car Doctor, on 95.9 WATD.
And welcome back to the Car Doctor program. If you would like to join us, our phone number is 781-837-4900. If you want to call in and talk to us about your car and your car problems, and love to hear what's on your mind. I was, like I said, answering questions this morning and yesterday, and if you have a question about your car, you can always email me, and I will always try to do my best to try to answer it. I need to get a new starter for my 2014 Honda Accord EX with a 4-cylinder engine, and I don't know why, and they said I need to get a new starter twice. I'd like to have it repaired, as the dealership quoted me $1,200, which seems very high. Can you advise me here on what to do? Boy, I need to rewrite this. And if the dealership is charging me the proper amount or overcharging me. Well, I use a combination of things. I use a motor manual that came with my Harbor Freight T10 scanner. I get, I think, a 2-year subscription of that. I use AllData mostly because I've been an AllData customer since AllData came out. I think in 1986, maybe. AllData came out with, it was kind of a neat little unit. It was a really heavy-duty computer and monitor with a built-in thermal printer that printed really fast, but it had DVDs or CDs, I guess, back then, that had all the technical information on it, so you had to switch back and forth. Now it's all internet-based, but I use AllData because I've always used AllData. That's the one I feel most comfortable with. Looking online, and AllData quotes manufacturer prices. Now, they have a new thing where they quote, because they're part of AutoZone, I think, AutoZone. And you can actually reference their parts catalog, providing you're a dealer who has an account with them. Well, I don't, so I can't. But the list price of a starter at a Honda dealership should be $643. Then you need to add in labor to remove the old starter and install the new one. Not a big job, a little bit, 1.2 hours. The dealer might be adding some diagnostic time. The most repair shops, if you came in and said, I need a new starter, most of them will ask why, and then they want to do a little bit of diagnostics on their own. And I would recommend that for this, because more than bad starters on Hondas, now this is 12 years old now, so could it be a bad starter? Sure. But what I've seen a lot on Hondas is bad starter cables, the battery cable that goes to the starter. They get corrosion in them, and it's not just corrosion at the terminal at the end where you see it. If you took the cable off and cut it open, you'd find it's green all the way up the cable and really poor connection. It can be the problem. But anyway, so a good shop, if you come in and said, put a new starter in my car, they'll usually a good shop will go, why? And they'll want to do a little bit of diagnostics on their own, so they might add a little diagnostic time to this. I use a labor rate because I try to average, upper state New York. I still think, up where Jim Sennett lives on the other side of Buffalo, maybe they're charging $90 to $100 an hour for labor in Long Island, because my column runs in Long Island Newsday, and people have said to me, well, labor rates out here in Long Island are as high as $265 an hour. So labor rates can vary quite a bit. I use $165 an hour to try to kind of balance that out. So to me, the total cost to put a starter in, a little bit of diagnostic time, shop fees, which I have kind of a problem with, but that could be a age thing, about $925. So if the labor rate's $200 an hour, yeah, you're getting close to that $1,200. Some studies show that dealerships can charge 30 to 36% more than an independent shop. So yeah, maybe an independent shop's the way to go. If you want to find a AAA independent shop, AAA.com/repair, you can find an independent shop, and there you go. Somebody wrote to me and said, I read your answer about running out of gas. And I don't remember when I read that. I've done that twice. Once I was stupid and drove too long. The gas gauge on my 1966 Plymouth was miscalibrated. It was on a quarter full. It was empty, and it always read way over full when it was full. He says, down here, wherever down here is, we have an expression, live and learn, and sometimes it's the hard way on the side of the road. Thanks for your call. Yeah, my feelings are learning from mistakes is okay. Jesse says I do it all the time. I've read that mistakes are actually how the brain actually learns things. People actually remember corrected mistakes better than things they got right the first time. My 16-year-old niece was visiting. She was worried about making mistakes. She was down here visiting, and I said it's okay to make mistakes. Just don't do it over and over again. I explained that WD-40, the lubricant, is actually water. WD stands for water displacement, and it's 40 because it's the 40th formula, and it's the one that works best. The first 39 formulas didn't work as well. The scientists planned, so they just kept working on it, come up with a better product. So it's okay to make mistakes. It's fine. It's okay to do that. Real common question, and it started with the holiday season. It kept on going. Everybody wants to know about portable air compressors to put in their car. Which ones I like. I saw one called oddly Kapow, which scares me a little bit with that name. But actually, it was a neat little unit. They all look like they're made by the same company in China. Neat little unit. Built-in battery. The only problem with the built-in battery ones is you have to make sure they're charged. I have the kind that plugs into a cigarette lighter in my car, and I also have the one with the built-in battery because it's a battery jumpstart one. It works well, but there's a lot of different kinds. If you're just looking for something handy, if you already have cordless power tools, get something that the battery pack fits on. That way, chances are you're always going to have a charged battery. There you go. That music means we need to go. I want to thank Jim Sennett from AAA Inc. for calling in and talking about the NAPA AAA program. And until next week, make sure you wear your seatbelt, drive safely, be good to your car, and if you see an emergency vehicle by the side of the road, slow down or move over. It saves lives. Talk to y'all next week. Bye-bye.